we're people of color. We put lotion on.
Yes.
When you put lotion on your chest, have you ever consciously put it on your nipples? Because I realized today, I don't think I've ever actually put lotion on my nipples. Like, just when you put it on your chest, it's like, I feel like you have to purposely put it on your nipples to actually get it there.
Before anybody answer, pause. So
You're right. Wait, that was. I mean, you just go over like.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like when you just do your chest, but like you're never going like, oh, let me make sure I got my nipples in this coverage.
I'll be honest, I forget I be having nipples until I look in the mirror. To be honest, I just look, oh shit, I got nipples.
Forget they exist.
It's either I forget.
Like why does Batman need nipples on his suit?
Only reason why I know I got nipples is because I either look in the mirror or probably because my girl licked them. That's probably it.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody, I fear nobody. I walk like a champion.
John said something kind of funny that I feel like is interesting, and I don't want to gloss over it because he said, "Look at the demographic of the sport." Mm-hmm. I want to know what your opinion on that is.
I will, yeah. I think that's very interesting because, like, when I played club ball, when I played high school ball, I was the only African American on the team, like, period, like whatsoever. Like my high school, like we had a. You
could say black on the podcast, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Right.
Future
thank you. I'm also like, not facing you, which I.
No, bro. You straight. You good, man. Like,
be comfy.
Yeah.
So I was the only African American on my club team and on my high school team for the longest time until my senior year of high school. Was there another African American child on the team? But yeah, I think the representation, one, because it's so expensive, and two, because not a lot of African Americans see the value of volleyball. I say because there's so much more that goes into the athleticism of being a volleyball athlete than being a basketball athlete or being a football athlete. I think it's just so much easier to translate the skills of like lifting, pushing, all that, like into basketball, into volleyball. I mean, into football.
Yeah.
But for volleyball, like it's a lot about technique, and like you can ask John. I am very technical based. Like I've been trained to just been so technique like poised for myself that like. It's very challenging if you're not ready for the task. You know, we're like, I know there's a lot of technique that goes into basketball and football, but like I think the representation, if you understood that like all these things can translate as well to volleyball, and like I think if you put a Klay Thompson on a volleyball court and he understood volleyball, like it would be a completely different game. You know, like all like the big name African American athletes, if they understood like what it meant to be a volleyball athlete at the level that they are right now, the face, the name, everything about volleyball would be very different. And I just think it's like volleyball has just been sold to white people and people that like can afford it. You know, that like that's something that, you know, definitely plays a big like reason why there's not a lot of like African American girls. And like I look at a team.
And guys.
Yeah, I look at a team like one of the athletes in Athletes Unlimited, which we'll get to later. But Athlete Unlimited, Leia Edmond on Kentucky, she was the only African American girl before Avery Skinner, who was another girl that came to a team. Her like me, her senior year. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of representation, no matter where you go, right? In terms of African American athletes, and then also another big thing about why Black people don't like playing volleyball is like the positions that are available. When you do get there, like let's be clear, like most of the time when we get here, we're the biggest athlete, or like we're this like the
most
tallest.
explosive.
We the most explosive. We jump the highest. We hit the hardest. All that, like, you know, not all the time, but in general, that's just how that works, right? And then they're misrepresented. They play middle all the time, you know. And
I just want to jump in here. It's literally like being the tallest kid on your AAU team. They're going to make you play center.
Yeah.
They're going to make you play center, and they're probably not going to teach you guard skills that you would need at the next level. They just kind of go like, all right, you're the tallest, you're playing center. Just work on post moves. That's it. Like things like that. But, and also, so it's the same thing. And then also with the volleyball thing, it's like, I feel like the market's a little oversaturated where it's like so many kids play basketball. Mm-hmm. And I know some people who aren't really into volleyball, even heard of this guy named Kofi, who played at UCLA.
Yeah.
And his thing was he was getting big on social media, crazy athlete, and he also played basketball. And one of the things where he was like, I can go and kind of be like your average basketball player. I'm good at basketball. I'm good enough to play D1. I'm athletic enough to play D1. Or I can go be a top level volleyball player. Like it's things like that where it's like you have all these everyone got league dreams coming out of high school. The amount of people who actually make it or play pro, period. You know.
Yeah. Do you think it's like I know like a lot of the times like when people talk about like black kids in like hockey and sometimes lacrosse, it's it comes down to like resources. It's like, you know, there's no ice rinks in the hood. You know, there's not a lot of open fields, you know, in Harlem where you can get, you know, even though I am seeing it more, like kids in lacrosse, there isn't that many open fields like you would see in Long Island or like Westchester, things like that. Does that also play a factor? Just resources available for African American kids?
Definitely. I wouldn't say that applies to me more so because like yeah, volleyball's expensive and all that. I also paid my way for my own volleyball. Like I had a job that I didn't ask my mom to pay for. I just paid
He's
for it
also from
myself.
Brooklyn, so
yeah, I'm also
kind of
from
falls
Brooklyn.
into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I mean. Shout out BX. No, BX. Excuse me.
Whoa.
Yeah, thank you. That's
There's a lot of cap going on here.
yeah.
Jesus.
BK. Excuse me, BK all the way. Thank you.
Wait, which part?
I'm from Flatbush.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mom's side from Crown Heights.
Oh, you deep and that's crazy. Anyway, shout. So, in terms of my volleyball upbringing, like there were places to play volleyball. Again, it was just a little bit expensive. That I had to pay my way through it a little bit. And you know, if you're not up for the challenge and up for paying $4,000 for a season, it's not going to be equitable for you. It's not going to be something that you want to do. You know, but you know, those who afforded it, and you know, those who were willing to go the extra miles or just have their parents pay for it, if you whatever, right? They did it, you know, and like I look at a place like Texas, or I look at a place in the Midwest where like there's so many more available places to play volleyball, so the price range maybe fluctuates a little bit, but like you look at New York where like there's so many, like there's many specific places that you can play, right? But like there's some powerhouse names like Cali or like Academy out here is a really big, like they're really good. Like their volleyball program is really good. Their boys and the girls program. That's in Long Island. You know, that was super far for me. That was something that I was like not able to do, right? So like Brooklyn Prime was another place that like was really good, or MIC Impact. Those are some pretty big names that literally the only city kids only had resource to if you could get there and you could afford it, right? So you slim pickings, you know, depending on where you're from, but you know, if you can make it work, you can make it work. But I think the resources available, I think that's definitely like a really big thing where like basketball's kind of free, you know, like
Yep.
you don't need a net for that, or like you just need a backboard. You don't even need a hoop, right? Like just
People
hit the
be
backboard,
making
whatever.
hoops.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I
They
mean?
just
Like
make them out of milk crates.
it's pretty hard to make a volleyball net if you don't have one, you know. So like that's just I think that in terms of resources, I think that's something that I would definitely consider to be a factor as well.
All right.
I think the main question, because we talk, even though this is a sports and anime podcast, we dig deep into race and ethnicity in terms of sports. Like we even had one of my best friends. He's black and he plays in the professional lacrosse league. So that's obviously been an uphill battle for him. You know, like your experience as like the only African American on your team. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to just dig more into that. Like how has that experience been for you?
Ciao.
Yeah.
Let me motherfucking tell you. So yeah, it was definitely rough and it was tough. Like I think, honestly, I think my awareness of belonging to so many groups, because I mean, like I'm African American, I'm gay. There's a lot of things that I like associate myself with that have made it so challenging to open up to other people or for people to understand who I am or like what I'm about, you know. And you know, there would be times where, you know, but like it's after school, but before practice, and I'll go to like fucking Golden Crust and get like a fucking beef patty, you know, like just like get like a quick snack, and like they're eating their fucking Starbucks, you know what I mean? Like that's just it's just a different type of it's like a different type of atmosphere, you know. And I think the most challenging time that I had experienced as like a African American, the only African American on a sports team, was when I was called the N-word to my face by a white person on the team. That was. It was very, very like challenging for me to one face and like to deal with, because one, like no one's gonna fucking advocate for you. You're the only black kid, you know. And how do I understand the power dynamic that he had in that situation? Because he was the team captain at the time, right? He was in my high school team. Shout out to Midwood High School though. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Like there was that, right? And so I had to deal with like the power dynamic that he had as a leader on our team. I was the captain next year. That's not the point though. But deal with that power dynamic, but also deal with the fact that like I am small in this situation, right? Like I don't have a lot of say, right? Unless I, you know, go to like a powers that be, which is our head coach, you know?
Right.
And then that ruins a lot of other team stuff as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I still hate that boy to this day. But we have reconciled our differences and we have dealt with that. But my story is not unique, and I think that's what the biggest takeaway from that. Like so many athletes are just so afraid to speak up for themselves because they have no idea whether or not people are going to advocate for them. And I think that's, you know, when you're the only African American, only Asian, only Arabic, Muslim. All those things, being the only makes you only so vulnerable to like your response to these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like with like advocacy groups, like there's an initiative right now. I think it's First Point Volleyball that's making volleyball more of a D1 sports for men. Like St. Francis Brooklyn has recently added a team, and there's a New Jersey City University, I think, has added a team as well that's D1 from this initiative. Which advocates for boys volleyball programs in high schools to become a thing as well, right? And like that gives the avenue for more people like of color, especially in the communities that really need to invest in the sport, the chance to play that sport, right? And there would be less opportunities for things that happen to me to happen to them, which I think is really great, you know?
Nice.
Yeah, I was. It's funny you say that because I was telling Matt earlier when we were just hanging in here that I didn't know that there were boys volleyball teams. Like there are, like Westchester has 0 boys volleyball teams. So like the first time I knew of boys volleyball was when I got to Temple and met one of my friends, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I played volleyball in school." I'm like, "Well, like after school or something?" He was like, "Nah," and he showed
Gym
me
class?
Yeah, like, he showed me a picture with him, his uniform, his team, and everything. I'm like, I did not know
Didn't know it existed.
like men's volleyball existed.
Yeah.
So
Did not know that shit was a thing. Well, we knew it was a thing at our high school, but that shit was really a thing at Temple. Like they shut down the basketball courts on Friday nights because of
Shout out
net
to
night.
Net Night.
I was
That's
sick.
where
I was
started.
sick.
Yeah,
all the time.
me, you and
Yeah,
James
yeah,
was
it was
tight.
tight.
We like, yo, we just gonna hoop on Friday.
I was tight until I started playing volleyball.
Exactly right. Until John started playing volleyball, and that was that. And volleyball is actually a really fun sport if any of y'all played. And then shout out to fucking
Bolden High School gym class.
exactly, literally.
What was it? That was Fridays, right?
Huh?
That was
Yeah,
Fridays,
Fridays
that
is
night.
that night.
I was like,
Yeah.
of all times where niggas actually don't have class the next day and can hoop all night, you want to make it Friday.
Well, that's because people go out Friday night. That's usually what happens.
Make it like a Wednesday. Make it like Wednesday.
Tried to.
Oh, sorry, White Girl Wednesday. So we can't make it
there you
Wednesday.
go.
You saying?
Yeah,
And
got
then
the dry horse.
Can't do Thursdays. Thirsty
Thursday,
Thursdays.
Damn.
Yeah.
Tuesday, maybe.
Predominantly white institutions.
Tuesday. Turn up Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Damn it.
Taco Tuesday. Yeah, that's
What are
right.
we gonna do? Yeah. Again, we do have that 2K tournament coming up. The Twitch stream is going to be MT Summit, twitch.tv/MT Summit. That's Sunday, 2:30 to 6. If you guys are in the area and you think you're nice at 2K, you're trying to win some bread, pull up with your controller. It's $25 entrance fee. That's Q's Barbershop across the street from the Walgreens in Baldwin. Go check that out and just go listen to us because it's us, it's basketball. People going to try and win money, so it's going to be competitive. They always say the best game of 2K you're going to get is if you put up bread. So it should be fun. With that, we're done for this week. Follow us at Saratobi Sports on Instagram and Twitter. We are also on Facebook. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can follow me at Offended Narwhal on Twitter. And anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about?
I want to say thank you guys for having me on the show. I think this was actually really
Thank you for coming. It was very
fantastic.
informative.
It was
Hell yeah.
This is super insightful. I really liked it. It was really engaging, and I learned a lot about the way other people that don't necessarily play volleyball understand the sport well enough to engage in conversation, which I really enjoyed. So you can follow me on Instagram at TYREEK_MC. So there's that. I would link my Twitter, but it's not safe for work. So there's that. So just follow me on my Instagram and what have you, and thank you. So.
Hell yeah. You're welcome back anytime, my boy. We appreciate you coming out. Real
this is
life.
great, man.
I love whenever we have guests. And yeah, man. For me, y'all can follow me on the gram, worldwidewest_11. You know what I'm saying? Word to Julius Handles. Word to Andrew. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
There's no solace.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Source.
Hell yeah. And Black Lives Matter as always.
They do. No, I'm kidding.
Shut your ass up.
Oh, so it's my turn to outro myself. Okay.
I mean, last the check, we always plug ourselves at the end, but whatever.
That's true.
I don't know who this guy is anymore, right?
Right.
Well,
First day. First day.
First day.
Yeah.
First day, huh? Yeah. So
First time.
you can follow me on the Twitters, J_Thomas_24. That's about it. Nematodes are people too.
We will catch y'all next week.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion. I'm